Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, SquareWave 2. No, there's not going to be any antique electronics today because I have something much more important to share with you. Every day in this country, seniors are being scammed out of their hard-earned money by highly skilled, well-practiced criminals who use the telephone. I know, because my wife and I were recently the victims of a $6,000 telephone scam. I figure one way I can fight back is by warning my subscribers, many of whom are seniors, of the red flag warnings they must watch out for. Last Wednesday morning, my wife was surprised to receive a distressed phone call from our grandson, Mike. He was in tears and hardly able to talk. My wife finally understood that he had been in a car accident the night before and that he had been arrested and taken to the hospital. Exactly why he had been arrested, my wife could not understand. Now he was in some sort of police station infirmary. Mike was insistent that we do not call his parents. Do not call my parents. He said that he wanted to be home first and then talk to his dad man to man. We know our grandson very well, and this just didn't sound like a request he would make. This was red flag number 1. Mike begged my wife to call an attorney who had contacted him from a first offender program. This program offered legal aid to first offenders like our grandson. After this call, my wife and I debated what was the correct thing to do. We decided that we should call his parents, and we tried several phone numbers unsuccessfully to reach our son. 15 minutes later, we got a call from a Michael Scheinberg, an attorney with the First Offender Program. Red flag number 2, there is no such program. He gave us a totally different account of the accident than Mike had given us. He told us that Mike hit a car head-on while driving the wrong way on a one-way street. The car hit was occupied by a young woman with a baby who was now in the hospital. Red flag warning number 3. Mike was a very responsible young man who would become an Eagle Scout in just a couple months. Driving the wrong way on a one-way street just didn't seem possible. Mr. Scheinberg said he could get Mike released by the end of the day and there would be no police record if we would pay the bail in cash, which was $9,500. Apparently he heard my wife gasp because he said he could try an out-of-state bail bondsman who could do better for us. Shortly after, he called us with the good news. A New York bail bondsman could get the bail reduced to a mere $6,000. Red flag warning number 4. A bail bondsman has no control over the amount of a bail. You may wonder at this point how my wife and I could be so gullible, so unsophisticated. But just remember that the image of our dear grandson injured and in jail was foremost in our minds. Attorney Steinberg told us to go to our bank and wire the money to a certain financial institution in New York City. He slowly and carefully gave us the instructions, the name of the financial institution, capital 1, the account number and routing number, and the name on the account. He had my wife repeat the instructions over and over. He told us that time was of the essence if we wanted to get our grandson released by the end of the day. Then he said he was going to offer us some free legal advice. We should not tell the bank representative anything about our grandson being arrested or any mention of bail money. Red flag number 5. We went to our bank with $6,000 in cash, all the emergency cash we had in the world. My wife and I returned home, and by this time she was beginning to suspect that we had been scammed. We had to contact our son to see if he knew anything about our grandson. Our son said he would make some phone calls and call us back. He called back and said he had some good news and some bad news. He had just talked to his son, who had not been in any accident and was just fine. But the bad news was that we had just lost our $6,000. We thought that once a transfer had started, it could not be canceled. But just the same, I decided to try. Off I went to our bank in an attempt to cancel the transfer and save our $6,000. I spoke to the branch manager of our Panorama City U.S. Bank. She was very concerned, and because the money had not yet left our account, she was able to immediately transfer it to another account, making it unavailable for wire transfer. Then she left me to consult with some other bank employee. Returning, she said that the transaction had appeared suspicious to some bank employee and that it had already been canceled. Our $6,000 was safe. We are very grateful to U.S. Bank for their vigilance in recognizing and canceling a suspicious money transfer. The next morning I got a call from U.S. Bank telling me that they had reported the incident to the police and that I would be getting a call from a police officer. Again, another example of U.S. Bank's vigilance. I hope our experience will help other seniors avoid red flags and keep their money safe. As a good rule of thumb, hang up the minute someone asks you to wire money. It makes no difference what the supposed emergency is. Hang up. These crooks are very skillful and masters of their craft. Take care. I have to commend my cat, Mr. Dylan, for his swell behavior during the shooting of this video. He's usually walking around on the bench, getting in the way, and causing a lot of disturbance. Thank you, Mr. Dylan.